1. Introduction. My name is Nikki. I live in a small village. This village is quiet. I am 22 years old. My life here has always been simple. My father is a strict man. He is often cold. My mother died many years ago. After that, my father married again. This woman became my stepmother. She is different from my mother. My stepmother likes money very much. She always thinks about it. She talks about money all the time. Our family is not rich. We are poor. My father often worries about money. He talks about bills. Sometimes he shouts about them. We do not have much. I help around the house every day. I try to make things better, but it is hard. One night I was in my room. I heard voices from the kitchen. It was late. My father and my stepmother were talking. They were whispering. I could not hear every word, but I listened carefully. My stepmother was speaking first. She said something about our problems. She said they could fix everything. She talked about me. She said I could marry a rich man. This would make our family rich. This would solve all their money problems. My father was quiet for a long time. I waited. My heart beat fast. I hoped he would say no. I hoped he would say this was not right. But then I heard his voice. He said one word, "Yes." My heart felt a sharp pain. It was like something inside me broke. They were planning to sell me. They thought of me like an object, not like a daughter, not like a person. They wanted to use me to get money. My future was not my choice. It was their choice. I felt very sad. I felt lost. I did not know what to do. My eyes filled with tears. I stayed in my room, crying quietly. My world changed in that moment. I knew my life would never be the same again. 2. A new man. A week passed slowly. My heart felt heavy every day. Then my father called me to the small kitchen. He stood tall and looked at me with a hard face. He said, "Nikki, you will marry a rich man. His name is Jay. He lives in the city." My body felt cold. I could not speak at first. Then tears came to my eyes. I dropped to my knees and begged him. "Father, please, no," I cried. "I do not want to marry a stranger. I do not know him." But my father did not listen to my words. He looked away. He said, "This is for our family. It will help us." His voice was final. My stepmother stood near the door. She had a small smile on her face. It was a smile of winning. She looked happy, not sad for me. I felt like a bird trapped in a small, dark cage. My life was not my own anymore. It was a thing to be sold. A few days later, the time came to meet Jay. My father told me to wear my best dress. My stepmother helped me, but her hands were rough. She did not say kind words. My heart beat fast. I was very nervous. I did not want to meet this man. I wanted to run away, but there was nowhere to go. Jay arrived in a big, black carriage. It stopped in front of our small house. A man stepped out. He was tall, much taller than my father. He wore very expensive clothes, black like the carriage. His hair was dark and his face was handsome. He looked strong. I stood next to my father, my hands clasped tightly. My face felt cold, and I tried not to show any feeling. I was angry inside. This man was rich, and he was part of my sadness. Jay looked at me. His eyes were dark, but they seemed kind. He did not smile a big smile, just a small, gentle one. I did not look back at him. I turned my head a little, looking at the ground. I did not want him to see my eyes. I did not want him to see my anger. My father spoke to Jay, but I did not listen to their words. Then Jay spoke to me. His voice was soft and quiet. It was not loud or demanding. He said, "Hello, Nikki. I hope one day you will not hate me." His words surprised me very much. I expected him to be a cruel man. I thought he would be hard and cold like my father. But his voice was gentle. It was a kind voice. For a moment, I looked up. His eyes still held a kind look. I quickly looked down again. My heart was still full of anger, but a small question started in my mind. Maybe this man was not what I thought, but I pushed that thought away. I was still a bird in a cage, and I did not trust anyone who held the key. 3. A new house. The wedding was very fast. My father took the money from Jay. He looked very happy. My stepmother held the money bag tightly. She smiled a lot and her eyes shone. I felt very sad. I had to leave my small village, the only home I had ever known. I left with tears in my eyes, looking back at the familiar path. Everything was changing too quickly for me. My heart felt heavy in my chest. We traveled for a long time in a big, comfortable carriage. The journey was quiet. Then we arrived at Jay's house. It was not just a house. It was a huge mansion. It was very, very big, much bigger than any building I had ever seen. The outside was grand, with tall windows and many doors. Inside, the floors were shining brightly. Golden lights hung from the high ceilings, making everything look rich and grand. It was so different from my small, old wooden house in the village. I felt like I was in a different world, a world I did not know. It was strange and cold to me. Jay showed me to a room. He said, "This is your room, Nikki." The room was beautiful. It had soft carpets and big windows. There were many fresh flowers on a small table and a large bed with soft white blankets. On a shelf, there were many books, more than I could count. He told me I could rest here. He said I could read the books or walk in the large garden outside. He did not tell me what to do. He did not ask me to smile. He just stood quietly by the door. Jay looked at me with kind eyes. He spoke softly. "You are safe here, Nikki," he said. His voice was gentle, just like the first time I met him. But I still felt a deep anger inside me. My heart was full of this anger. I thought about my father. He sold me for money. I could not forgive him for that. I would never forgive him. He took my life and gave it away. I looked around the beautiful room. Even though it was lovely, it was not my choice. I looked at Jay. He was a rich man and he bought me. I was like an object to him, a thing he could own. Even though he was kind, I did not trust him. How could I trust a man who bought a wife? I felt like a bird in a new, big, golden cage. This mansion was not my home. I was not happy here. I was still very sad and very alone in this new, strange place. My future was uncertain. For a cold heart, many days passed. I stayed in my big room. The room was beautiful, but I felt trapped. I did not want to leave it. I often looked out the window. I watched the green trees and flowers in the garden. Sometimes it rained softly. The world outside looked gray. I felt gray inside too. My heart was still very cold. I thought about my old home and my family. I felt angry. Jay was busy with his work. I did not see him much. Every morning he left breakfast for me outside my door. Sometimes there were small notes. They said good morning or I hope you enjoy this. I saw them. At first I threw them away. I did not want his kindness. I still felt he bought me. I did not want to feel anything for him. My heart had a strong wall around it. One evening I went outside. I wanted to walk. I went into the big garden. It was very quiet. I walked far from the house. There were many trees and different paths. I walked for a long time. The sky started to get dark. Soon it was very dark. I did not know the garden well. I tried to find my way back to the house, but I could not. I was lost. The air became cold. I felt a little scared. My heart started to beat faster. I was alone in the dark, big garden. Suddenly, I heard a voice. Someone was calling my name. Nikki, Nikki. It was Jay. He came quickly. He held a bright lantern in his hand. He looked very worried. When he saw me, he came closer. His face was full of concern. He asked, "Are you okay? I was looking for you." I did not answer. I just stood there, cold and a little afraid. Jay saw that I was shaking from the cold. He quickly took off his big, warm coat. He put it around my shoulders. The coat was heavy and warm. It smelled clean. He put his arm around me. He gently walked me back to the house. His hand was warm on my arm. I felt the warmth of his coat and his hand. For the first time in this new house, I felt something new. I felt safe. It was a strange feeling. I did not want to feel safe with him. I wanted to stay angry. I wanted my heart to stay cold. But in that dark garden, wrapped in his coat, something moved inside me. My cold heart felt a tiny bit of warmth. I did not understand it. Jay walked me to my room. He just said, "Good night, Nikki." Then he left. I was alone again, but the feeling of safety stayed with me a little. The wall around my heart was still there, but maybe there was a small crack. 5, a little warmth. Jay started to join Nikki for lunch every day. They sat at a big wooden table in the dining room. At first, Nikki ate her food quietly. She did not look at Jay. She did not say anything. Jay did not force her to speak. He just talked about simple things. He told funny stories from the city. He talked about his work and people he knew. Nikki tried not to listen. She tried to keep her face still. She wanted to stay cold and angry. But sometimes Jay's stories were very funny. A small sound came from Nikki's mouth. It was a laugh. She tried to stop it, but she could not. Jay would smile when he heard her laugh. His smile was soft and kind. Nikki would look away quickly, but she felt a small change inside her. One afternoon, Jay showed Nikki more parts of the big house. He showed her a room full of books. There were thousands of books on tall shelves. He showed her a room with a piano and other musical things. Then, he opened a door to a new room. It was a bright room with a big window. There were paints of many colors. There were brushes and white papers and empty canvases. This was an art studio. Jay asked, "Do you want to try painting?" Nikki looked at the paints. She had never painted before. She thought for a moment. Then she slowly walked into the room. Nikki picked up a brush. She chose a small canvas. She started to paint. She painted small, colorful flowers. She painted red flowers and blue flowers. Jay stood behind her, quiet. He watched her paint. Nikki felt a little nervous, but she was not scared. She felt a new kind of calm. She spent many hours in the art studio that week. She painted small pictures, one after another. One evening, Nikki walked through the living room. She saw Jay on a long sofa. He was sleeping. He looked very tired. He had worked for many hours that day. A soft blanket was on a chair nearby. Nikki walked closer to the sofa. She looked at Jay's peaceful face. She slowly picked up the blanket. She gently covered him with it. She did not know why she did it, but she felt a small feeling of care. After that night, something changed inside Nikki. Her heart had been very cold for a long time. Now, a little warmth started to grow. It was a small feeling, like a tiny fire. Her cold heart was slowly melting, like ice under the sun. 6. A day in the city. One afternoon, Jay asked me, "Would you like to go to the city with me today, Nikki?" Going to the city sounded interesting. I said, "Yes." Jay smiled. We drove to the city. It was very different from my quiet village. Tall buildings touched the sky. Many cars moved fast on the roads. People walked quickly on the sidewalks. The city was full of noise and bright lights. It felt alive. The lights looked like many small stars on the ground. First, Jay took me to a big bookshop. Books were on shelves everywhere, from the floor to the ceiling. I walked slowly, looking at all the different covers. I touched a blue book. Jay saw me. He said, "You can have any book you touch, Nikki." I was surprised. I touched a few more books, not believing him. He bought every single book I had touched. It was a very kind thing to do. I had never had so many books before. After the bookshop, we went to a small cafe. It was a warm place. The smell of coffee and sweet cakes filled the air. We sat at a small table. Jay ordered 2 pieces of cake and 2 cups of tea. The cake was soft and sweet. It tasted very good. We ate slowly. Jay did not talk much, but he looked at me kindly. I felt comfortable with him. He let me enjoy the moment. Later, in the car going home, Jay spoke softly. "Nikki," he said, "I only want you to be happy. I do not want your love if it ever makes you sad or if it hurts you." His words were very important. They went deep into my heart. I thought about them for a long time. He truly wanted my happiness. He was not like my father. He did not see me as something to sell or to own. He saw me as a person. When we arrived back at the mansion, it was dark. Jay stopped the car. I looked at him. For the first time, a real smile came to my face. It was not a small smile. It was a true, happy smile. Jay looked back at me. His eyes shone brightly in the dim light. It was a very special moment for us both. My heart felt warm and light. 7, the truth. One afternoon, my father and stepmother arrived. My father looked at me with his usual hard eyes. My stepmother stood behind him, her eyes cold. They wanted more money. "You must ask Jay for it," my father said loudly. "He has much money." My stepmother nodded. I looked at their faces. I remembered all the past sadness. But now my heart was warm from Jay's kindness. "No," I said. My voice was quiet but strong. "I will not ask Jay for more money for you," my father shouted. "You must do what I say." "I am not your little doll anymore," I told him. I stood tall. "I am not something you can sell. I am a person." Jay came and stood beside me. He put his hand gently on my back. "She is not your property," Jay said to my father. His voice was firm. "Nikki is a free woman. She makes her own choices." My father looked at Jay, then at me. He saw I was not scared. He saw Jay was with me. He was very angry. He turned and walked away quickly. My stepmother followed him. They got into their car and drove fast away from the house. When they were gone, the house became quiet. I looked at Jay. He looked at me with soft eyes. Tears came to my eyes. They were tears of freedom. I was truly free. I put my head on Jay's shoulder. He held me close. I felt his warm heart. In that moment, I knew the truth. Jay never wanted to own me. He wanted to love me. And I finally let myself love him back. My heart felt full. I knew I was safe with him. I knew I was loved. The truth had set me free. 8. A new life. Many months passed. Life in the big house changed a lot. The quiet rooms now held happy sounds and laughter every day. I felt a new peace deep inside me. My heart was not cold or afraid anymore. It was warm and full of joy. I was not the sad girl from the small village. I was Nikki, truly happy with Jay. This new life felt like a wonderful dream. I spent many hours in the art room, my favorite place. I painted pictures of bright flowers and the garden outside. Jay often came to watch me work. He brought new paints and brushes. He even brought fresh flowers for my studio, making the room smell sweet. He made sure the room had lots of sunlight. It felt like a special place, just for me. Painting helped me show my true feelings and share the happiness inside. Jay and I often walked in the large garden, full of green trees and colorful flowers. We held hands along the paths. The sun was warm on our faces. We talked, and sometimes we just walked in comfortable silence. It felt like we had chosen each other. Every new day was a gift. I loved being with him. He was kind, gentle, and patient. He always made me feel safe and loved. One sunny afternoon, I sat down to write a letter. It was to my father and stepmother. This was difficult, but important for my own peace. I wanted to tell them what was in my heart. I wrote that I forgave them for what they did. I understood they were poor and worried about money. But I also wrote clearly that I would not come back to the village. My life was here now. My home was with Jay. I sealed the letter carefully. No more tears were in my eyes. Only a small, quiet smile touched my lips. I felt free and strong, a new feeling. I was not a doll or property. I was a woman making her own choices. I took the letter and went outside. Jay was waiting for me in the garden. He saw me and smiled warmly. He held out his hand and I took it. This time, everything was my choice. My new life with Jay was a real beginning. I was happy, truly happy.